Welcome to Work It Out, Sweat Therapy with Emily, yours truly, and this is the series where we work it out and we talk it out. You see, owning a body can be really hard at times, and we were not given an instruction manual on how to operate this thing. So consider this series your guide to any and everything to do with owning your body. Now, before we begin, there is viewer discretion here. I am not a medical professional or therapist, but what I am is a kinesiologist and trainer of 12 years. But even more important than that is I'm a real person, and everything that I'll be talking about in this series comes from my personal experience, my experience with clients, and in my professional career. Potential side effects of watching this series include boosted serotonin and dopamine levels, a regulated circadian rhythm, a healed and balanced gut health with healthy bacteria levels. But what it is guaranteed is that every single day you're gonna wake up and you are going to feel yourself. You're gonna wanna dance in your mirror naked. That's a warning. You should probably close your blinds so your neighbors don't see you. Every single day you're gonna wear what you wanna wear and when you wanna wear it. And most of all, you are gonna be in these streets and stunning on your ex. Today, our Work It Out is a conditioning squat day while we talk it out about unconditional love. What you'll need in today's workout is a squat rack, dumbbells, and a bench or a split squat machine. All right, get your little fitness tracker on, okay? Because we are catching all of these calories today. Conditioning workouts are some of my favorite, but they hurt. It's a lot of volume. We're gonna get in a lot of reps today. And first we're gonna stretch it on out. Definitely every workout I have, especially leg day, I have to start with getting my hips open and my hammies going and then my glutes activated. So I'm gonna walk you through all that while we talk about today's topic, which is all about unconditional love. It's a word that honestly just gets kind of thrown around and I didn't fully interpret the meaning properly myself. And it was recently when I was journaling. It was actually this week. I try to journal every week, and I try not to put too much pressure on myself because I never want it to feel like another chore or a habit, which I think can happen with a lot of things, even like working out, if we don't have the right mentality, which is not viewing it as a chore. It should be something that is making your life feel better and flow better. And when you stay in that state of flow, it doesn't feel like an obligation or homework, you know? So when I journal, which is usually weekly, this was something that really has been coming up recent for me. And it is the concept of if I unconditionally love myself. And it all came from someone asking me. And when they asked me, I paused, I was like, yeah, I do. And then they asked me to elaborate on what it meant and I couldn't. And I was like, damn, I really have to sit with this. And I have to really understand what unconditional love means to me. I think it's so important because you know the saying, if you can't love yourself, you can't expect someone else to, right? There's a lot of different versions of it. Like you meet the people at the level you're at, or you only can meet someone as deeply as you've met yourself. Like, you know, there's a ton of different ways to say it, but it's the same thing, which is if you don't love you, someone else isn't gonna love you, or not at that definition of unconditional love. And even if you haven't gone to therapy, you've heard it. What you experience in childhood often comes up later in life, yada, yada, yada. For me, I actually was so grateful and so fortunate I experienced unconditional love as a child. It was my adult romantic relationships that gave me what I'm gonna dive into today, which is kind of a messed up definition of what it is. Really like looking back and reflecting in my adult years, romantic relationships was when I really started forming definitions, right? I feel like a lot of us do, because it's different. Like childhood relationships are much different, our parent relationships are different, but when you are an adult and your romantic relationships, and you know, I'm speaking from POV of being a woman and just like forming my like woman identity around it. Like there's so much societal pressures and just like concepts in general that are all about how, as a woman, how, you know, men treat you or look at you or respect you. I really realized that I've never experienced in any of those past relationships unconditional love. They were always with conditions. And again, it's always a two-way street. So you have to look at, you can't just be victim mode like, I've never been loved. No, that is not what this series is about. It's about owning your own shit too. So it's me really realizing, okay, what is it in me Where am I not unconditionally loving myself? And that's where I have my little epiphany, if we will. What I really looked at in my personal life was where, personal and professional, like being an entrepreneur, whew, Lord, that will highlight and spotlight all your shit that you have to work on, let me tell you, because it is you versus you, and it will tell you about yourself. So definitely in my professional, being an entrepreneur in personal life, outside of relationships, I really started looking like, damn, I give myself a lot of conditions. For example, let me know in the comments if this is you, because I feel like there's gotta be, y'all don't leave me hanging being the only person, but have you ever said, because I've said this so many times, when I get this amount of money, let's say X amount of money, I will treat myself or enjoy something. I will book a vacation. Now, I know what you're gonna say, part of that's just smart budgeting, but if you don't let yourself live life and enjoy it, and you're putting conditions on you have to achieve said thing in order to actually appreciate yourself and celebrate yourself, is that unconditional love? Is that conditional? I'm so sorry if I'm out of breath and talking. If you're not breathing, are you doing like that? I don't think so. Time to put weight on this thing. Okay, I'll give you another example that I have said many a times. When I look a certain way, so I have like a aesthetic goal, how I wanna look, then I will take more pictures, or I'll wear this, I'll be more confident, I'll go out more. Sounds like conditions to me. And it's really funny because even my like personality type, I don't like being conditioned. I don't like feeling like I'm being put in a box or limited. In fact, I feel like I'm the person who is, anytime I feel like there's some box being built around me or ceiling, I break out that bitch right away. And so it's really funny that in the same breath that I don't allow other people to do it to me, I built my own box. I built my own conditions for when I could really love myself and appreciate. And the wild part about that, you gotta make sure your bar's straight, always make sure your bar's straight. The wild part about that is you just keep putting it off. Like you're literally putting off loving yourself into this future context or this future when I get there. And what you waste in life? When is that gonna happen? When are you gonna get there? When are you gonna allow yourself? And I feel like this happens a lot in athletes, and I think a lot of this came from maybe even my like perfectionism in my athletic, career and growing up an athlete. And that is that the goalpost keeps moving. So, for example, with the athlete context, when I would get to that 3,000 meter time I wanted, or 5K time, I was like, okay, next goal, let's go. And there's a very fine line between being ambitious and goal-driven and giving yourself a goalpost and constantly moving it to a place where you're like, oh, I'll be happy then. Because let's be honest, not loving yourself unconditionally is also preventing yourself from being the happiest that you can be. And I really, squatting and talking, who had this idea? Oh man. And going backwards? No, I honestly really suggest making that distinction. And that's what I really had to sit to do in my journal. I had to sit and look what things are motivating me, what things are ambition, what things are pushing me forward, and what things are building this box around me and holding me in. And the honest truth, because I'm gonna bring the honest truth, even if it is something that is hard to hear, is we build these boxes and these conditions out of fear. It's out of fear. And if you keep in this little box that you built, it is your known, it's your safe space, right? Then you're comfortable. That's where you don't fear. But it's also where what? You can't grow. You got a box around you. And especially in a sense of like love, and if you're building these conditions around love, it's familiar. And what's familiar is not scary. But that's not being vulnerable. That's not truly letting yourself meet your deepest levels of yourself. And it sure as hell is not letting someone else in and being vulnerable enough to let them love you to that level. And that's where you really gotta check yourself. Are you operating out of fear? You better not be, because I sure as hell was. And I think it's just like honestly so important to really, I call it checking yourself, because I don't know, I just think a lot of relationships with people, even not even romantic, like can if you're not careful, you really can form narratives and be very like tainted, bitter, whatever it is. And then you're like putting that shit on other people. And that's what I think the problem is, honestly, with at least our generation. I can only speak from that. People out here just putting shit from other people and other experiences on other people. And I refuse to participate in that. So my responsibility in this is to work on myself and to really like look at these parts of myself. So also because I never want to like have a frame or a POV from being in like victim mode. Like this person did this and this person did not love me fully. This person, no, not gonna be me. So I think it's important, with this being said, for me to really look at these conditions that I place on myself and tackle those first. So I remember hearing this once and it really stuck with me, and that is all of our human experiences form an internal thermostat. So a little thermostat, like right now, it's hot as hell here in LA, so I got the AC on. I know what the temperature is gonna be for that thermostat. I know it, I'm comfortable with it. Based off past experience, I know where I'm comfortable. Well, all of your human experiences form this internal thermostat, which is where you feel most comfortable. And the crazy part is sometimes that is not in your best interest. Sometimes because you repetitively told yourself certain things, or you've repeatedly, oh my God, that's a tough word. Why can't I speak in squat? Bear with me, I'm Canadian. Where you repetitively have been exposed to certain things. So let's say it is like from childhood, or a relationship or romantic partner, family member, anyone. That then becomes your norm, your homeostasis, your thermostat, where you put it on and you are most comfortable. And sometimes you got to throw that whole gauge, that whole thermostat out and reprogram. And I think, I'm 33, and I think there has to be an age, and it could be any age, but especially when I reach my 30s, I realize what things that form my thermostat are no longer serving me. And I've been keeping myself in a hot ass room. I've been doing it to myself, because you are only going to subject yourself to what you tell yourself. Write that down. You're only subjecting yourself to what you're constantly telling yourself. And if I'm telling myself, when I'm here, I'll be happy. When I have this, I will be successful. When I look like this, I will be beautiful. I am literally hurting myself. That is sabotage. And I don't care. This is what I truly believe in. As long as you're sabotaging yourself, you are going to be in romantic relationships where you are not getting what you deserve. You are getting what you are bringing to yourself. You are literally getting matched. And that's where I had to take the response, rather than being like, oh my God, he did this. No, I kept believing it. I kept telling it. I kept feeding it to myself. And that was some harsh truth. That was a hard pill to swallow. Okay, now this one requires balance. So if there's moments where I'm falling, it's because talking and balancing really, it's not my special suit, not a talent of mine. So now I got to then the point, after realization of, okay, so I recognize that I have these conditions placed on loving myself. How do I love myself unconditionally? And that was in conjunction with therapy. Go to therapy, guys. Honestly, it really was very, very small acts of self-love that added up for me. And that was the other thing too. Self-love is like, that's gonna be a whole other video, because it is a subject that's, again, misunderstood, or I at least misunderstood it as just like doing more things, like getting my hair done and going to get a massage, which, not to say aren't acts of self-love, but again, those were just things adding on my to-do list. I was already stressed and busy, so I didn't feel any more love from that. I felt more stress, more appointments. Getting to the point of unconditional love was changing the narrative and really like slapping myself in moments where I had that little voice being like, more, do more, you're not there yet. And being like, no, I'm gonna celebrate the present moment. I know I'm going to achieve more. I know I'm going to grow and evolve. I know I'm going to be at a different level next year than I am this year, but that doesn't mean that I can't appreciate my level right now. My ass is on fire right now. I can't even think, ow. Oh, Lord. Oh, all my brain cells just gave up because my butt was like, ma'am, conditioning while talking about conditional love, my butt. Whose idea was this? Was this my idea? It was my idea. All right, I'm gonna bring it back. Oh, I think it cramped. Shit. Listen, by the way, if you're at this point in the workout and your glutes are not on fire, baby, you're doing it wrong. Okay, we drop set it now. I don't even know where I am. Where's the thing? By the way, you can use a bench if you don't have this thing right here. Okay, Emily, get it together. Okay. I love myself unconditionally, even when my legs are ready to fall off. Okay. Unconditional love for myself really started coming from all these small things. Like, I just celebrate the small wins, the small moments, and this was the secret right here. This was the secret. I just was more present with myself. I just sat more with myself. I did less. I just did less. Like, we just live lives of doing and doing, and I just started being. And every time I started being, and in being was being more grateful, I was like, damn, what is there not to love about myself? Like, this is wild. Like, I make everything I want to happen. I have never not met a goal. I have never not been able to do something I really want to do. That's so much to be grateful for. Every day I wake up and I get to move. I have a body that can move. Like, there's people who can't do that. Like, every day I get to be creative. I get to grow. I get to meet people. I get to talk. I get to enjoy food. I get to do, like, there's so much to love, and you're the reason every day these things are happening. So you're the basis. You are love. Like, that is the thermostat. And when you just sit more with it, and you get better, it's almost like a muscle, right? So you get stronger at reaching that thermostat setting of love and loving yourself, that being your new neutral, your new homeostasis. There's nobody that can rattle you off that. And I think that is the most powerful thing I've accomplished yet, which is getting to that mentality and to that state of being. So I'm not saying people don't annoy me or make me mad or honk their horn and give me the finger in traffic for no reason, but it doesn't shift me. It might temporarily have a moment where you're like, buzz off, like, just, but then I get, because that was hard to hold. That was hard. I don't know what rep I was on. I'm gonna be very honest. But it doesn't take much for me to get back to that now. Like, people can't shift me away from loving myself, because once you learn that, you can't unlearn it. So now, in a romantic relationship setting, if someone came at me with conditions to deserve that type of, or the love that they get, no, the door, because I can give it to myself. So you gonna give me conditions? The only conditions we accept around here is conditioning leg day, okay? And why? Because it makes us better, and my butt is on fire. That wasn't even one round. I got one more exercise, damn. Okay, we're gonna see how the jump squats and talking go. If there's like heavy breathing, I'm so sorry. Consider this like an ASMR breathing situation, because squat jumps are the devil. Okay, so basically the last step in my little personal process of achieving this unconditional love and breaking down the conditions was really converting these conditions into goals, right? Because, again, to give an example of when I make X amount, I will treat myself to this, or I will travel, whatever it is, whatever condition you're putting, oh, here it starts, whew, condition you're placing on it, break that goal down into smaller parts, into smaller achievable goals, so that, number one, you can celebrate those attainable wins, but then again, it's making it less conditional and more motivational. It's like a seesaw. It's a balance. Again, there's such a thing as those conditions that you're setting as being motivational, but there's positive motivation and negative motivation. This is something that if you don't work out, you'll learn through working out. Positive motivation is, I know I hated those jump squats, but they're gonna lead to positive change, right? So I'm doing something that's building myself. I'm getting stronger. My legs are getting stronger. My conditioning is increasing, right? There's a positive reward to that versus I'm gonna punish myself because I ate that whatever burger, whatever fast food. So I'm gonna punish myself by doing these jump squats. That's negative motivation. Again, it could be a whole other video, the reward system of our brain works, because we either can use that to sabotage ourselves or help ourselves. It's the same thing. So making sure that these conditions, you convert them into goals, you convert them into motivation, then most of all, you actually let yourself win. You gotta let yourself win. Life is there's no such thing as perfect. We know that. Perfectionism, throw that shit out the window. And life is way too precious. I don't even like the term life is short. Life is not short. Life is beautiful, but life is precious. And if you keep putting off your happiness and your love for yourself in the future, then you might never get there. And that is what we are just not going to claim or do. And I promise you, the second that you get that deep unconditional love for yourself, someone's going to bring it to you. Someone is going to bring it right to your feet, and it is waiting for you. All right, y'all, if you made it through those 4 rounds, honestly, if you made it through 3 rounds, you did amazing. That was a tough workout. My legs are noodles. I can't really move, actually. I'm just gonna sit here and close this out. Do your stretches and let everything I said marinate. Like I said, everything about this series is speaking from a POV of these are talks I have with myself. If I haven't journaled it, I have said it to myself, and I just want to share it because maybe these are things that you can relate to, and maybe it will help you think a little differently. Because I can tell you with 100% certain, matter of fact, that everything that I have learned in this life experience has been from other people. Right? Other people, my brilliant teachers growing up, people I've met through traveling, friends, clients. Like, I am so grateful to get to learn through, that's how we learn. It's through other people and their experiences. Now, also through that, we can learn what we don't want. That's important too, but I think the more we're open to receiving and taking information in and letting it apply to you. So the internet, what you're watching this on right now, is a crazy place. It's the Wild West. And it's up to you to take in everything but not absorb everything, right? We don't want to take on other people's energy that is not for us, right? But we do want to take in this energy and information that can serve us. So it's up for you to take it in, but then all on how you absorb and apply it, that's personal to you. Whatever I said today, if any of it really spoke out to you, then that's my goal. I hope it did. I hope it can help you, whether you're gonna journal now, hit this workout, please hit this workout. Your legs are gonna thank you. After they're sore for 2 days, they're gonna thank you. And then really just like journal or sit with, you might be in the shower and you're just gonna think on it. Like, where in my life can I really remove these conditions? And I think the world would be a way better place if we all could just unconditionally love ourselves. And you deserve that. This life is meant to be enjoyed, and you are everything. You have everything inside of you. You are literally the most imperfect, perfect person right now in this current state. So it's time that you start loving yourself and getting that point. And if you are new to working out, then welcome, because working out, gym, outside the gym, I don't care where you are moving, inside your living room is a place where you are going to find new levels to yourself that you didn't know existed. And I guaranteed that love, you're gonna find it. It's gonna be there. So until next time, make sure you pencil in our session, because we have more to talk about. We have so many more topics to cover and a lot more reps to do. Thank you for watching.